Yippity skippity. I'd say you could follow along, but I'm sure it would murder what little access you do have to the internet.
Probably not a great idea.
No, probably not a great idea.
It's actually really frustrating because Korea, as a nation, has some of the best internet in the world. I think they're the top 3 right now. And so it's just that where we are, they've paid for some like third-rate internet deal. It's, we're like staying on the countryside hostel version of the internet instead of just a normal human hotel. Yeah. I think we share.
I'm echoing?
Not with me.
No, shut up. Interesting. Like, is it 2 copies of what I'm saying that you're hearing?
You're not echoing with me at all.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to someone that's actually watching.
Typing you.
No,
Right.
Well, yes, they're typing, but I wonder where that's coming from. Do you hear me once now? Feather? Or is it still doing it? Okay, so I will have to look into what's doing that later. But for the moment, I just turned off the microphone in... I don't know why that audio would be going out twice, but I will fucking figure it out. Did that completely fuck up the sync of my voice, or no? We're learning. It's an exciting process. Still synced. Holy fucking shit. All right, then. I don't know why that's worked, but it worked. It shouldn't have. I'm calling that a win. That is what I'm going to fucking do.
Points for you, sir.
Oh, sweet points. That's what I live for.
I know.
Points live right in the void where my heart used to be.
Mm-hmm. Points and any additional pylons.
I do require additional pylons.
I know. I know you do.
Hashtag the struggle.
Oh.
All right, so get those so I can see them both. How you doing today, little buddy?
Are you talking to me again?
Yeah. On a scale of excellent to great, I want to know.
7.
Bold. It's a bold choice. Prime number.
You know, it's a good day. I just got back from a 4-day vacation in Busan.
The question I was just asked was, now that the technical learning has been done, who is this wonderful person? Caps lock. Wait, is this the other you? Yes. The fine example of a mix between a Cossack, a third-generation lapsed Jew, and some kind of extinct dodo would be Ian.
What's the other kind of dodo, Mike?
I mean, if you don't have clearance to know, then I certainly can't tell you.
All I can tell you is I've never been clubbed by a Dutchman.
I think if you examine that statement more carefully, you might find it's not necessarily true.
I'm standing by it.
Okay.
I'm standing by.
All right. Is Copus Dutch?
No, he's Greek.
Okay. All right. I guess it's possible then, but I'm still not 100% on it. We can reminisce. We can reminisce later.
No, I had a Belgian. Was it? She's like a peanut butter heiress or something. I forget what it is. She crashed on our couch for like 2 weeks once. That was weird.
It sounds weird. I've developed a habit when these lights are on of filling dead spaces in conversation, so I'm having to force myself to let you talk. Because
Okay.
that's how this is supposed to work, but I have a habit of talking over the noise that's coming out of my computer because of the stream, and the struggle is real.
Right. It's a demanding thing to know that people are hungry for your vitriol.
That's true, and
Because
flattering.
I want to be clear that I know they're not hungry necessarily for your words. They're hungry primarily for your words, but I know that there's a lot of times where you stop, and it's not that you don't have more words, but screaming is the most adequate thing. So they're just hungry for your noises.
It's true. I have a series of phenomenal noises that fall out of my face hole on the reg, which I
So
don't think is a phrase.
it is now. So do you think this Hammer and Scalpel thing, should that just stay Hammer and Scalpel? Should it be Hammer and Scalpel Productions? Should it be smaller? Tell me the
I'm
dimensions you want it to be.
I'm fine with that. It's just taken up a lot of space, but not all of the space, if you catch my meaning.
Yeah, I could make it smaller.
Well, it's then we'd still have blank space. Like we either need something else to go with it, like to bring that down to a quarter and take up the other quarter of the screen, or it needs to be big enough to be the background, and we would just be kind of taking up foreground space with it back there. This is fine for now. It's not like causing me pain, which I was worried about. But you see what I'm saying.
Kind of.
For now, it's just fine.
It's worked out really well that you have a black background and I have a white background.
It has. I actually have a green background.
Right.
I'm not messing with you. It's a green screen that's transparent, but I don't have an image up on it at the moment.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, I know you can't see color, so it occurred to me it was important to quantify.
I can see some color.
Look, either you're colorblind or you're not. I'm not going to play these little games with you. You decide right now. Either those cones work or they don't.
I'm colorblind.
There you go.
And as I have to explain to people, that doesn't mean that, like, if something is in color, that it's invisible to me. Like, I still see the object.
So you saw the spiders? Well, I appreciate you pretending that you didn't. That means a lot to me.
You needed it. You needed a win.
I will show you later how to set it up. You have another device that you have access to, aside from the thing you're talking on right now?
Yeah, I have a laptop and an iPad.
All right. I think pulling up, if you pull up the Twitch channel on your laptop and just do the chat and not the video, that shouldn't strain your connection over much. But I think it would be helpful for you to be able to see what people are typing, which at the moment is just one person, because Feather is the core of all of my works.
Very good. I can try that.
Yeah, go.
So
you answered
did
go,
you want to talk about anything?
and you wagered for it. Go for it.
Oh, man. All right, so I go to twitch.com.
Twitch.tv
Twitch.tv.
FC None. Yeah.
Slash.
FC None. FCNONE. 'E. 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 'E.
/FCNONE.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally the only person in here right now, Feather, so I'm not letting you feel important. It's 100% fact. No, I also didn't throw up any announcements on anything because there's some tweaking, some tweaking of settings and some greasing of wheels going on at present. I'm
Okay,
not
so-
sure. I think what I will probably do is I will take however long it takes us to actually get started and make that its own thing and upload it, and then upload our pilot content as its own, as another thing. I think that's what I will do.
So I'm not seeing anything in the chat room, and I don't want to hit start watching.
Can you see
Should
the
I
chat
hit start
room?
watch?
Can you see the chat room?
Ah, I do. Okay.
Okay, so it's just not showing you the backlog. That's fine. Feather, say hi. He can see you now. No, you don't want to hit start watching. You're right about that. That would give you. It's a fine introduction. It speaks to your intelligence and poise. It's the yeah boy is second only to the Molotov opening in terms of very aggressive chess maneuvers. It's a 5-move checkmate if you do it right.
If you do it right.
If you do it right. If you don't, you are doomed. Doomed.
Yeah. As long as your opponent remembers to kingside castle.
Right. It's a terrible thing to dream about that rabbit.
Mm-hmm. It's got no brain, it's got no blood, it's got no anima. It just keeps banging on those meaningless symbols all day and going and going and going.
This is me breathing.
I love that movie so much.
It's phenomenal. Underrated. Underrated to be sure.
Yeah, I'm very proud that I saw that in the theater.
Over there.
It's kind of cool.
Did you?
But, yeah. It
All
was
right,
a bunch
so-
of the old theater guys. We were just like, what should we see? We want to see a movie. And I was like, Grosse Pointe Blank. It looks really good. And it was. It was also one of the first DVDs I bought.
All right, Feather, how are his levels? It occurs to me to ask that question. I think that's the last thing we need to tweak for the moment. Levels are solid. Outstanding. Nothing like a solid level to help you build a porch. And isn't that really what we're doing?
Yeah. We're basically doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just... part of me is stuck on imagining that, like, we're in a place. And that you were like, oh... Ian, this is Feather, and I go, oh, hey, and we shake hands, and instead of saying hello, Feather just goes, yeah, boy, which would, like, add an actual introduction, I think you should do from now on.
I have a suspicion that she will not, but if you had come into TeamSpeak, that might have been what would have happened.
All right.
Okay, so I think we've got everything squanched out to maximum squanchiness.
It's pretty squanchy.
It is pretty squanchy. It's too squanchy for you.
It can get no squanchier.
No, it's at its absolute squanchiest. Absolute squanch, as we all know, is
right
5,000 Kelvin.
It's right before terminal squanch.
Yeah, you don't want to hit terminal squanch.
It's just before terminal squanch.
That's you've gone too far.
Nothing.
Your arrogance will be our undoing. Okay, so
your squad friends is yours.
Where has not the pulp gone? I believe we're ready. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are your loins appropriately girded?
Oh yeah, my loins are girded.
Okay, that's good. You don't want to come into this with ungirded loins. Makes a
No.
terrible mess.
How would I run?
The way you always do, vaguely like a serial killer.
Very so really fast when no one is looking.
Yeah. It's not an
Don't
aggressive
say
jog,
that.
but it's also not a hostile walk. Does he run like Leatherface? No, he does not run like Leatherface. Leatherface is
Um,
more of a murderous jaunt, if that's an option. I think that's how I would quantify that.
I don't know how to describe my running, but it's pretty fast, and I cover a lot more ground than people think that I would, so I get to them much faster. Expect from a running person.
Which is why I said what I said, because it's like in those movies where you glance back and he's kind of far away and you think you're okay, and then you glance back and he's much closer, but you didn't perceive that approach. It's just a series of still images of a vastly approaching proboscis and associated organs.
Yeah, but I'm attempting to spear you.
Yeah, it's just right through. It doesn't even stop. Just picks you up under the bone plate that he's got above his eyes and just toss like a rhino.
I used to be on the swim team, and Mike saw me swimming butterfly once, which was my stroke, and he was just. And I remember that his first response was, "Why would anyone call that butterfly? You look like a murder bird."
Which at the time I didn't know there was a word for, and it is raptor.
It's butterfly.
I stand by raptor. Well, I was 16, so
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Long time. I remember when they installed the
20
internet on
years.
cell phones. It was a great day.
Oh man. Yeah. I remember that.
Mm.
I don't have it handy. I'll have to save it for another podcast. I still have my cell phone. It's 10 years old now, I think. I don't have a cell phone here in Korea. Very rare.
Right, they don't make phone calls in Korea, right? I think I read that somewhere.
They don't make a lot.
Do they light beacons in the distance, like if Gondor calls for aid? Is that how that works?
It's more like they use cell phones, but they don't make a lot of phone calls. So there's a lot of their version of WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, which is called Kakao Talk.
I mean, I've actually
There's a lot of digital communication, but it's not telephonic.
I actually knew that because I've been there, so I don't have a follow up because there's only so long I can
understand. This is
listen
heavy
to
on the
information that I'm already aware of. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Their communication is heavy on the tele,
Less
and
on the
light
phonic?
on the phonic. Yeah, not a lot of phonic.
I'm pretty sure there's at least 8 bands that just spontaneously sprung into being called Heavy on the Tele.
I'm glad I could help.
K-pop is very sensitive to psychic emanations.
I would not watch that show.
You might.
I might. Not surprisingly, they don't call it American Idol here. Their version is just called Idol.
That makes a certain
Which
amount of
is-
sense.
It makes total sense, but it's really weird to hear. Not because it doesn't make sense, but like because of the connotations of just Idol by itself. Like, my friend really likes watching Idol. And like, are you just doing a poor translation of telling me how religious he is?
You know, I would definitely watch I would watch False Idol. Where a bunch of minor deities compete to become the next major competitor to Christianity. I would watch the shit out of that.
You know, that was like a little half-popped kernel idea that we never fully fleshed out was American Idolater. I have that in my notebook somewhere, and we just never fully turned that into an idea.
I mean, the number of ideas you have in notebooks that haven't been acted on could probably fill a larger notebook. But just one. You could collate
probably.
that, is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be using some of the ideas on this podcast.
Oh, good. We'll finally be exposed to all the stuff you've never gotten around to doing.
That's correct.
I feel like you should have been more prepared for that response than you were.
I mean,
and you've triggered Feather.
All the stuff that I'm doing is all the stuff that I haven't gotten around to doing.
That sounds like an excuse.
I think it sounds like an explanation. I mean, there's some things I think as they come up, it's reasonable to go, you didn't get to that yet? Why didn't you do that yet? But there's other things where, I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like since we want to be spending at least 15 minutes on outlining a story from time to time.
Sure.
I have concepts I can throw down and be like, let's turn that into a story, motherfucker.
Oh, thank God. I was concerned you wouldn't have enough half-baked ideas to share with us.
For us to completely bake?
Yeah, I was really worried that wouldn't be a thing. It's been so long since I got to tell you that you've had a shitty idea. I'm excited to get back to doing that more regularly.
That feels insincere somehow.
I get that a lot.
It's interesting. To be fair, you don't tell me I have shitty ideas that often. I mean, when I have shitty ideas, you tell me 100% of the time. But usually you tell me, that sounds fine for somebody. Not into it. Or you laugh and do not tell me I have a good idea. You almost never tell me I have a good idea.
Well, it's because you barely have good ideas.
You just start throwing out complimentary ideas or additional things that should happen.
You have salvageable ideas in great quantity.
Right.
I had that one holstered for at least a minute. It felt good to get it out of the barrel.
Right. You're like Robinson Crusoe, just looking out into the shipwreck of the SSE and being like, I should probably get some shit off of that boat. Yeah.
Yeah. Before it sinks deep ocean of its own self-loathing. I know.
Sure.
Shut up. I know.
All right.
All right. So, are you ready to actually get ourselves to a point where I can make a cut and then perhaps have some sort of contiguous structured content?
Yeah, it's going to be a shorter one today because I do still have to stop in about a half hour. But I'm ready to do that.
Okay. Well, then, I wonder then if we might just want to stick to what we're doing now. In that instance, I think that might be the path of wisdom.
Yeah.
Well, doing it for half an hour isn't. Trying to follow half the format isn't going to work. I think we could maybe have a discussion or two, and see how well we can stick to a time frame and a topic. I think that's probably hey Rax, what's up? A worthwhile expenditure of our time. But I'm not gonna waste half of what we've already got written on something that we're not gonna be able to finish.
All right.
Thank you for that in-depth and well thought out feedback. It was extremely helpful.
You seem to really be telling me that you've made a decision, not so much inviting discussion. So I'm just saying that's okay, buddy.
Oh, that's reassuring.
Let's do that.
Run into that again. I don't have to waste 10 minutes proving to you I was already right. Yay!
I'm not that invested.
There's dick jokes are happening in the chat,
Yeah, I see.
which is funny because not everyone there's into dicks. But I'll leave it a question as to who may or may not be pro dick. Which is different from being not pro dick is different from being anti dick. Let's clarify that real quick. You don't have to be against penis to be for vagina. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, some people just don't care.
That's true. I don't give a shit. I couldn't possibly fucking care less. And maybe there was a time when I had an opinion somewhere, but it has just been run over by people yammering on about I don't care. I can't care. I want to support you in your struggle, but it's become so complex. And it's like half the time your intentions are good, but you use the wrong word somewhere and suddenly you're the enemy also, and it's very confusing. So I've just stopped giving. Just you stick things in places, fine. That shouldn't be against the law. Good on you. It's the end of it. It's the entirety of my opinion now.
Yeah, my feeling on the entire issue of any sexuality is that I don't need to understand it. I just need to know you're not lying to me. I don't need to understand it. I just need to believe you.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The whole life did not choose you, Ryan. You made a series of decisions that ended in penis. That's how that went. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that was totally you. The omnicock did not come down from the sky and say, "Of all my creatures, you, cavernous one, shall be my avatar upon this earth." That's not what fucking happened.
Also, it's very negative of you to think about yourself that way. Like you have no agency in your life.
That's true. You need to be empowered. Grab life by the shaft. And stroke it however much, makes you happy.
You're in control.
This is me breathing.
But it's not a joystick.
No. Oh. That whole grab him by the pussy mess, that was the first thing that gave me pause. It wasn't this person who is running for president has basically just casually endorsed sexual assault, which I know was most people's initial reaction, or alternatively, that's just locker room talk. That's the other half of that argument. But the first thing that hit me in my mind was, I don't think I have ever once in my life and all my sexual partners done something that I would qualify as grabbing a pussy. I've done a lot of stuff to them. A lot of stuff. Some of which I know is outside the standard realm of sexual interaction, but never like just bowling ball grabbed onto one and gone. That's not a thing I've ever done. I never would have used that phrasing, I don't think.
No, I don't know if that's the first thing that struck me, but it definitely, I had a sort of a tandem reaction of like, yes, that's sexual assault, and yes, that's terrible, but also, why would you do that? Just, yeah, I'll just take that.
Yeah, like it's like I grab some goldfish when I'm hungry. It's or I'll grab a drink on my way out the door. I rarely grab people anywhere, but particularly in their bathing suit area. That's not. I'd say I've grabbed in the upper area. That's certainly a thing.
Yeah.
But never something internal. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
It's good. That's exciting. I'm not making a chart. My chart making days are done. Ian might make a chart.
I might make an infographic.
Well, now Feather, things you grab versus things you don't grab. That sounds like a Venn diagram to me, not a chart.
Um, we could make a Venn diagram. I feel like to make it worthwhile, there's got to be a hilarious overlap or non-overlap. Um, or I don't know, maybe like a one of those choice charts where it's like grab or don't grab. Is it this? Then
A
yeah,
monkey chart. A
yeah.
monkey chart could work. That's a very real possibility.
I saw a really great chart like that, trying to explain time travel to an 18th century British street urchin.
Are you
And
are you are you familiar with the Facebook page Obvious Plant?
no,
It's a guy that makes fake infographics and informative. They look like the shitty "Did you know" or whatever
yeah,
signs that you see all over supermarkets, campuses, stuff like that. And he makes ones that get progressively more insane, and then puts them places, and they all say "Obvious Plant" on them.
right.
But I think people don't notice that. But it's definitely your kind of humor. I recommend it. Huh. Well, that's not optimal. He fell off the phoner net. Or I did. No, I didn't. Fuck. Well, that was to be expected. He's in Korea. Let's give that another shot. Gaze upon the horror that is infinite me in the interim. Ah, welcome back.
Good to be here.
I'm very proud of you. The background cycles. It's one of many.
Right. I understand. And I used to pick on Mike when we were kids, and then we became friends, and then we stayed friends, and now it's today.
Accurate, if a bit. He should never play poker. Ian should never play poker. No. You need to. You need to understand. All of that goes away. All of it.
Yeah, I mean, I should never play poker because I don't care about poker, but
that's
um,
what's the funniest, quickest joke you know? Can you think of one real quick, Ian?
the funniest, quickest joke I know.
Yeah, like something you want to laugh when telling.
Uh, I don't know if it's a joke, but I think there's something from a Christopher Durang play where he's talking about how some.
I was just. Did you have something in your head that's quick?
I do.
All right. So for demonstrative purposes, if you could just deadpan that out real quick.
Yeah. Sometimes when everybody's together, we like to fill my daughter up with enema water and let her play piano for everybody.
That does sound like something Christopher Durang would write.
Yeah, it's part of a monologue too, which makes it weirder because there's no context. The only context is this guy telling you about his life. And he keeps fucking up and going too far. And that was one of the things where he's talking about how like, oh, this is my job and this is my life and I guess it's okay and sometimes I do fill a sock full of grape nuts and beat my kids, I guess.
Ooh,
and
grape
is that
nuts.
too much? Too far?
That's
I'll start over.
Savage. I feel like you can't go past Honey Bunches of Oats, or it's abuse.
Oh yeah, you can murder somebody with a sock full of grape nuts.
Oh, for sure, especially if they're frozen.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically lead at that point.
Yeah, there have been legit beatings. I don't know if there've been murders that way, but people have legitimately like used them as weapons.
I mean, I imagine typically where there's been a beating, there's been at least one murder.
I thought that you were going to say something about grape nuts. I was wrong.
Wasn't I? Weren't we still talking about grape nuts? Maybe I'm confused.
Typically, where there's been a beating, there's been at least some grape nuts.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was implied. I apologize if I was not specific enough.
I guess it was. Part of me assumed that the rate at which we moved, we had started to move past grape nuts, I guess.
Let's be honest, Ian. You never move past grape nuts. You just learn how to live with grape nuts.
No, I moved past grape nuts. Are you still dealing with grape nut stuff?
I mean, I feel like you're shaming me now, and I don't appreciate you attempting to take away my agency in the matter of grape nuts.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm my own man, all right? The grape nuts don't control me. I make my own choices.
All right. I thought we were on the same page.
I was super excited to be talking to your ear for a second there. That's excellent awareness of the camera.
Sorry.
I am on it. You've wanted to do this for a while, you said? It's super hard to tell.
I have wanted to do it for a while, and then you were like, and also video, and I was like, well, I haven't wanted to do that as much for a while, but I'm a creature of compromise, so that's fine.
I mean, it would be foolish not to, truthfully.
Yeah, no, and I hear you, as you can see.
Yeah. There's your ear. That's outstanding. We needed more of that shot.
I suspect
it really, really brings home how large your fucking nose is. Like anything other than a 0 degrees straight on angle. My God. You're like what the Greeks were trying to hide in their fucking statues.
We wanted to do this because Mike and I aren't selfish, and we should share this with everybody.
Fuck off. I'm totally selfish.
And we should share that with everybody.
That's true. That's absolutely... that's arrogance, I think, is what you were going for.
Oh, my bad. That's... Yeah.
What is over there? What is over there?
Nothing. I'm not looking at anything.
Why are you doing that? You're like a fucking bird. Just... Huh? Huh? Huh?
Do you want to ask me to stop?
I feel like That's true. I do have a lot of friends with big noses. But this is the first one. This is the start of the pattern. Patient 0, as it were.
I'm the boilerplate.
Yeah. Though it does seem like your eyebrows have finally learned how to live apart, so that's exciting.
Yeah. They got a restraining order.
Oh. I was really hoping they'd find a way to work it out like adults.
After they lost nose brow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, that happens.
They just couldn't keep it together. When eyebrows grow, they either grow together, and it's okay. Just don't want to fight it.
Yeah. Thank you, Feather. This is essentially from 14 to 28 of my life. It was this a lot, if not every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like if you were to shut off all of the equipment, the conversation wouldn't fucking change at all.
Yeah. It would be nicer if there were no lag.
That's true, and entirely your fault.
Yes.
and
yes,
I suppose the People's Republic of Korea?
Democratic Republic of Korea.
The Dirk. The Dirk.
The Dirk. Or Drock.
I like Dirk.
I know you do.
Did you watch season 1 of that?
I watched the first, I think, 2 episodes
Did you not
and
like it,
enjoyed it.
or did you just didn't have an opportunity to watch the rest of it before you skittered off?
Basically, I need to return to that.
It's very
Why
very good.
Korea? I wanted to teach English. It seemed like a pretty good opportunity, and um I wanted to be teaching English. I wanted a place that compensated teachers. I wanted a place that had a climate that I wouldn't hate, and that really leaves Korea because everywhere else gets too hot or has a cost of living that is too high.
Oh, it is important to note that Ian begins to die around 80 degrees, depending on the humidity.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, 80 degrees is. I'm not happy at all. Um, 75. I'm actually like, I start getting wary.
Oh,
So I'm a bit
worms are
living.
coming.
Yeah, can feel it in my knee.
Warm today. Warm yesterday. Warmer tomorrow.
Uh,
Yeah, Ryan.
I'm sorry. I'm just totally baffled by how full of shit he is.
She.
She? Are they
Yeah.
all she?
Yes.
You dog. Um, Apologies. Uh, no, I've heard things about Dallas, and none of them have been about how cold it is.
No. No. Actually, I haven't heard anything about how good it is, but certainly not about how cold it is.
No. It's all hot and big and Jr. Right? They shot Jr. there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
She doesn't give a shit. Yeah, and I mean, I know it's the only place I've ever been where there was an airport that made me long for LaGuardia, and that is not a compliment.
Okay.
Have you been to Dallas Fort Worth?
Uh, Not that I recall.
It's
It's
terrible.
possible that I
It's
transferred to another.
You'd remember if you'd taken that transfer. It's fucking awful. I was not kidding when I said I longed for LaGuardia, and LaGuardia is fucking terrible. Let me make that 100% clear right now. LaGuardia Airport is only not the worst airport I've ever been to because Newark and Dallas are a thing.
Yeah, if you can't fly out of Westchester, then
That's hard to do from San Diego.
I know, right?
It would be quite a drive.
Well, then if you can't fly into Westchester,
Also, unfortunately, not really an option from here.
is it not? That's too
No,
bad.
I've looked because that would make my life significantly easier when I get guilted into coming home at Christmas.
Yeah.
I was.
Do you know if Mom received the postcard?
She asked me for
Yeah.
your address, and then when I gave it to her, went, which I
That makes
can't
sense.
blame her for, because that was my reaction when you gave it to me. I looked at it and went,
I mean,
okay.
at first I gave it to you in actual Korean, which was kind of a dick move, but
I'm not above printing that out and taping it to an envelope. And good luck, little letter. You'll get there, you
right.
won't.
As long as you write Korea on the bottom, it will, because they like the people here when you write everything in English, they're not like, oh, I know where that house is. We'll just get that right in the mail. I just write Miguk at the bottom, and they go, oh, we'll just put that in the America bin.
I feel pretty strongly that if I were to just attach your face and South Korea and send it off with the appropriate amount of postage, it would find its way to you if it reached the country of Korea.
It might. I do tend to have good luck with mail.
I do not.
My favorite example of that is I was writing to my friend Taco Bob, and I was living in Connecticut at the time. Taco Bob lives up in Buffalo, New York, and I mailed the postcard from Grand Central Terminal, so from in the city, and I had accidentally put so I wrote his street address and name, but I accidentally put my Connecticut zip code, and I mailed it from New York City. And it came to me in Connecticut.
What?
Which means that because of the zip code, it went to the post office. People looked at, someone was just like, this isn't a street here. And someone else saw that and went, I know who gets that.
Probably. I distinctly recall you sent me a letter while I was in boot camp, and I received it 18 months later.
I sent you quite a few letters, and I know only a handful made it.
Only a handful made it, but it was the one that showed up almost 2 years after I'd graduated boot camp that really impressed me.
That's really something.
Who found that and then, I don't know, through some misguided sense of civic duty, was like, this must find its home. You and me, little piece of postage, we're going on a trip. Through forwarding addresses and time.
There's a part of me. There's a part of me that wants to keep writing to a fictional you on the Benfold.
That guy could probably, whatever alternate universe exists where I decided to re-enlist, that dude could probably use a letter. Because he's not happy.
I can keep doing that.
If I don't know where are you.
I have a barf bag from Vietnam Air. Is it?
Oh yeah, you sure do.
Yeah, from Vietnam Airlines. I could put some postage on that and send that to the Benfold. Not worth it?
You are free to do whatever you like. At this point, I only have a handful of friends on the ship still, and they're all transferring off soon. So, to FC2C Wiz.
Look, I want to be clear. If you give me an address and tell me things to say, I will do that. That's just...
I'll think about it. I will contemplate this. I will have a discussion with a friend of mine that is about to leave, and see if he thinks there's enough of a sense of humor still existing on that ship that it would be worth your time.
Okay. Contemplate this on the tree of woe.
How do you know about my woe tree?
Everybody knows about your woe tree.
Fuck. I thought it was a secret woe tree.
Nope. You water it with fear.
I mean, yeah, there's a water shortage here, so it's not like I have much of a choice.
Mm-hmm.
What about the ficus of doubt? Is that one
I don't
still...
know about that one.
Okay, all right, good.
I mean, I do
cool.
now.
Fuck! My garden of sin will be everybody's business at this rate. That's terrible. At least the tomatoes came in real nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
We have a plant named Rick because it's just got it goes straight up, but then there's just one branch on one side that's sort of hanging off and drooping down, but it looks like it's on purpose. So we decided that plant looks like it's about to get swifty. So that's Rick.
Okay, well,
and swifty in here.
Whatever floats your proverbial boat, my friend.
Fair enough. I mean, I like sending people barf bags. That floats my boat.
It's not even remotely surprising.
My favorite story about that, actually, is there was there was an event that I went to in Hartford or Vernon Rockville, you know, and at the hotel in the bathroom they had a sanitary napkin disposal bag, clearly labeled with all sorts of Victorian frills around the labeling, and I addressed it to Vinny when he was in the Peace Corps in Kazakhstan, and passed it around to all of our friends who were there. And we mailed it to him. And when Vinny got it, it was the day that like his office had closed. So he just went to the Peace Corps mail drop, and they didn't know if it had been used or not, so it was in a biohazard bag.
It's a great story.
I know.
For those of you that don't know Ian, it's important not to encourage him with your face when he's telling a story, or he will never, ever shut the fuck up. Unless there's an opportunity in his story for him to pause so you can tell him how clever he is.
Well, or I get to the end. Sometimes I get to the end.
You know, I'd like to think that the end is where you stop talking, but my experience has shown me that your ability to segue into something else that you'd like to talk about with no input from the other person is pretty solid.
It's true. I'm a huge fan of brevity, except when I'm talking.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. And how grateful are we all for your gift of gab?
7.
Bold choice. Prime number.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good day. It's a good day. So, I don't know. 5 more minutes? Do we wind down?
The Koreans learning English are what?
No, just the Koreans learning English are. And yeah.
Oh,
they sure are.
Do they subject, object, verb?
They do.
Oh, okay. So that actually, that sentence made more sense than I thought it did. Interestingly, sign language is like that sometimes, which is really annoying, actually. It doesn't have the same kind of hard and fast rules that most written languages do.
Right.
For that sort of thing, which in the context of how it's meant to convey information makes sense, but in the context of trying to translate English in your head into something that plays a little more loose with those rules can be very tricky. And a lot of people in my class are will sign at me using English syntax, which is not right. I know what they're saying. Why did you capitalize segue? He's not riding around on one of those goofy little scooters.
It's true.
I don't think the Koreans are giving him blank looks in class. I think they're very, very interested in what Ian Teacher has to say.
Usually.
Oh.
I sometimes go on tangents.
No.
It's true.
My God.
Well,
you've changed.
I mean, in class we have a curriculum and there's an outline, but if there's time and depending on the questions that they ask, I will tell them things that they didn't want to know. So.
All right. So, real quick before Ian skitters off into whatever Korean hole he has to bury himself in. Anything you guys think we need to know or would like to see, since we have an audience of 2 and I'm not going to give up that particular advantage while I have it presented to me?
Yeah, fair enough. We do have an actual outline and talking points to try next time.
We do, but it took a while to get this up and running. Though I think we've learned a lot, and I think I got a lot of good data out of how this needs to be set up. I think we should start talking maybe 15 minutes before the show.
Okay.
Next time. Just to make sure everything's solid and work out any last minute stuff so that we can actually get started on time.
Okay.
Feather says nothing. Her top knot remains silent. Yeah. I really need to figure out how to get rid of that stupid little...
Nightbot?
No, I like Nightbot. You have an afro?
Okay.
That's outstanding. No, the little window of what would be my camera is irritating.
And if you give me dimensions for an image, I can tweak this. I like the concept.
Yeah. The space that we currently exist in is 1920 by 1080.
Okay.
And it is bisected. So those are quarters that we're living in, and then the bottom half is an actual half. Those are mathematically
1920 by 1080.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing.
Yep. And some quadrants. Got it.
Yep. 2 quadrants and a rectangle.
Perfect. A perfect rectangle.
Well, I mean, a square would be a perfect rectangle if you want to be...
I guess that's
hangry?
true.
Well, get some fucking cake then. You can't have cake, can you? Because you were busy disintegrating your ass for the last year and a half. She did well. She lost a lot of weight. She looks great. But I have to imagine that cake was not included in that particular formula.
I don't know. I don't know.
I went the other direction and just didn't give a shit.
That sounds exactly like you.
Yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't it just?
Mm-hmm. So, do you trim your beard at all, or you just have it and
No,
you're
I trim
afraid? Okay.
Why do you ask? I said, why do you ask?
I don't know. Because you visually exist on 1/4 of my iPod screen.
Yes.
So,
If I did not trim it, it would eventually turn into an actual beard of like some size, which I don't think would look good on me, even a tiny little bit, and would annoy the shit out of me. So those 2 factors combined, about once a week, I give it a trimmy trim tram.
Very good. Do you use scissors or you have a trimmer?
I have a trimmer because I'm lazy.
I know.
That's all it
But
takes.
there's a question of, are you too lazy to buy scissors, or are you too lazy to buy a trimmer, or are you so lazy that you need a trimmer because scissors is a pain?
Friend.
When did you crest that?
I'll tell you when. When I walked past one while doing something unrelated and said to myself, this will save me time.
That was very prescient of you. A lot of people don't have that level of awareness. Many people stand right next to batteries that they super fucking need when they're at the store. Don't buy them.
Oh, I Amazon Prime plenty of stuff. It's just the trimmer. I literally walked past it because Katie needed something from the store, and my eyes laid upon it and saw a sale and went, ha! A thing I need that is literally within arm's reach, that is cheaper than it might be otherwise. Perfect. And then I consumed it, left the store, and then regurgitated it onto my back seat and took it home.
Nice. It's a good thing it was sealed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. That the corners kind of hurt on their way up.
I would imagine.
But, anything for a bargain. I only
Fair
steal
enough.
stuff that's on sale. That's how I justify it. I'm taking less from the store than I would have
Right.
otherwise.
But seriously, did your mom get the postcard I sent?
I don't know. I can tell you only
Okay.
that she asked for your address and then asked if you need anything from America. I suggested jerky.
There's plenty of jerky here.
I know. But she doesn't know that.
Fair enough.
I told her there was
Yeah.
no jerky there and that you would probably love some jerky and some coffee.
There's like jerked squid.
I know. I've been there.
Um, it's hard to find decent coffee beans for human prices, but the cost of shipping makes it stupid to do that. So,
I know. I had all of this information.
fair. Um, okay, so no feedback or requests for next time, which will be in what, 2 weeks?
Will it?
Won't it?
I mean, we didn't actually do what we set out to do today, so I suppose that's up to you.
Okay. When do you want to do this for real?
I am available at this same time next weekend. Or
Okay.
if you need to, like I said before, my schedule is I don't stream on Tuesdays, I don't stream on Thursdays, and I have time on Sundays because this is my homework day. So those are my windows. Otherwise, when you're up, I'm working or in school.
Thank you, Feather. Then yeah. Let's plan on next week for real,
Okay.
and I'll just make sure that that's okay with the lady.
That sounds like the path of wisdom.
Hmm.
And I will email you about I think starting soon image is something that would be good for us. And then thanks for watching with I don't know, some linkage would also probably be good. But we can discuss the details of that at another time.
Yeah. I also feel like wherever these get posted after they're streamed, compiling show notes could be good because we do drop stupid references.
That's true. That's a good point. I think for this, I'm just gonna I'm gonna let Twitch encode this and send it straight to fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I mean we can add that stuff later.
Yeah, I don't feel compelled to pull the audio for this. I will in the future. But I'm just gonna kick this straight to YouTube and I'll email you a link. And you can distribute it as you see fit to anyone that might find it entertaining.
Sounds okay.
I'm sad that the word isn't entertaining because that's way more fun to say.
I like entertaining, but I also wish that entertaining were a word.
See, that was fun. That was fun to roll off the tongue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it used to be a word, Mike, and we got it from the Norman French.
Oh yeah, Norm. He's a good guy. A lot of words, that dude.
Mm-hmm. Norm gave us a lot of words after 1066.
It's a very specific year.
They're all specific years, shithead.
I'm gonna have to give you that one.
Yeah, I think so.
And right now, Ryan and Feather are treasuring that moment above all others that they've witnessed today. I guarantee you.
Okay.
Yep, there it is.
I see. Very good.
Mm-hmm. You have to remember you've shown them a thing that has only been rumored to be possible.
I I didn't know that we
That
had a
was
full display.
the Higgs boson of shutting me the fuck up.
uh, the the key to shutting Mike up, however briefly, is I don't want to say it's not hard, but it's way simpler than anybody really understands. I'm going to tell you because you're not going to remember because nobody ever does. Uh, you, it's simple but difficult in the same way that climbing a mountain is like what could be simpler? Just get up there. Um,
Simple and easy are not the same thing.
right. Like you just need to say true things to Mike or point out that he accidentally said something that wasn't true or is really obviously true. That's that's it. Like, sometimes because it's a human expression, Mike might say, um, this may or may not be the case. Like, yes, Mike, that's true of literally everything. Those are always the only two options.
Now, Feather, I applaud you for your note taking, but with Ian's advice comes a note of caution. And this is important. If you attempt this and you fuck it up, you have opened a window into which my fist will reach down to whatever pair of genitalia you might possess and pull it out your ego. That is how that works. If you take the shot, it needs to connect.
Yeah, it's yeah, like do, also add to your not notes that this happened like 1.5 times in the last 45 minutes.
She likes to watch. Now sit down on the bed and close your eyes.
No, do it slowly. Do it doucement.
Thank you for recognizing that reference. I suspect most people wouldn't, because that's a very obscure portion of True Lies to quote.
I guess that's true.
Like, of all the stuff that happens in that movie, that's nobody's go-to.
Who wrote this shit? Harry? C'est la merde.
Okay.
All right.
Give me the goddamn page!
Yeah, I think everybody's go-to is actually the what kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer.
There should have been more films with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Arnold.
They worked really well. One of the things that I love about True Lies, I mean, other than it being arguably the best action comedy ever made, arguably. I'm open to more. I'm always happy to see good movies. Is that the computer hacker character on their team, Faisal, Fast Faisal, is Grant Heslov, whose name means nothing to you, but he is the Academy Award-winning writer-director of Good Night and Good Luck.
Huh. I really liked that movie.
I liked it too. I like that one. He also I think co-wrote and directed The Men Who Stare at Goats.
I have seen that film twice, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it.
I think that's fine. There are a handful of movies like that like even if you'd hate it, it's worth seeing because there's no other movie like it. Like the only movie like The Men Who Stare at Goats is The Men Who Stare at Goats. The only movie like I Heart Huckabees is I Heart Huckabees.
True. I haven't seen that one in a minute.
It's good, or
Yeah.
I liked it. But I gotta go now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I think you had to go then.
Yeah, and very little has changed.
Be the
So I'm
change
gonna
you are.
miss you. Yeah, I'm gonna miss you.
I don't
But
believe you.
but I will keep throwing things at you.
It's reassuring. I'm not going to miss you because that's a silly human emotion that I don't engage in.
Right.
But I will note your absence occasionally.
That sounds that sounds likely.
It's the closest we're gonna
All
get.
right. All right. Well,
Fuck off.
good night and good words to you.
Oh, those are great. Hey, Lamau. Now there's just an eternity of me's. Well, this is awful, and I'm just gonna fucking. All right. Well, this is slightly less infinite then. That was awesome though. The eternal repeating screen. I will get a closing screen for this at a later point in time. Thank you guys for fucking about while we worked on this. I'm gonna go probably not edit this, probably just transcode it directly to YouTube. And then next week we'll do it for real. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will catch you later.